Okay, here's a brief layout update. I haven't really touched too much on the layout, really. It's just kind of a shelf right now. I have all kind of stuff sitting here. But anyway, most of my focus has been over here. This is my Blaisdell, New York scene I'm working on. And this was brought about with a new backdrop that I put in. So on the other side here, I have my Turnpike, my Ohio Turnpike scene. And then on the other side of the backdrop here, it transitions, it helps to hide the transition here, so it comes underneath the Turnpike. This would be Avery, Ohio, which is near Bellevue. Comes through the backdrop, and we come back out over here on the New York side of the layout here at Blaisdell, and this is at the far eastern end of the nickel plate main, just outside of Buffalo, just west of Buffalo. And Blaisdell was important to the GB Tower, which will be going over here eventually. GB Tower was a Pensy or Erie Tower, one or the other, but regardless, it was where the Pensy Chautauqua branch joined the nickel plate main for the run west to Brockton, which is 49 miles west of this location, which I've also modeled. Here's my Brockton scene. So from here, sweep over, this is 49 miles, just compressed down to about, I don't know, 10 feet roughly. Regardless, Blaisdell is important because it was for what I just mentioned here. And then also, just to cover up the backdrop here and help with the opening and make this, to add a new scene, I also put this bridge in here. This is a real bridge based off prototype photos. It looked pretty close to this, and it was the New York Central Gardenville branch, or Gardenville cutoff, which came off of the New York Central main, the New York to Chicago main, which would in real life would be just beyond the bridge here. That's where the main line was. And it came off of there, and it ran down this way. It ran, I believe it was like a northeasterly direction, and it essentially got the Central to bypass around Buffalo and the congestion at Buffalo. So anyway, it crossed over the nickel plate Pensy tracks just beyond GB Tower in real life. So I kind of had to freelance this given the space that I had, but I have it, as close as I reasonably can get it. I'm doing a lot of work on it as of late to kind of tie up the scene and get it more complete. So the bridge here, the real bridge was a double truss bridge, pretty similar to this, two small Pratt truss bridges, of which no real model exists in O scale, as with many things. So when it comes to O scale, you kind of have to scratch build or use your imagination or kit bash or, one of those things. And so I chose the kit bashing route with this bridge here. This is two of the Lionel truss extension bridges, I believe. These come usually they did for a time, they came in Lionel starter sets, or you can get them for real cheap. I think I had one from a starter set, and I bought a second one for I think it was like $17. So this whole bridge was, fairly cheap. And it's meant to take either fast track or tubular track. I figured you could enhance it right away by putting on some better track. So I put some Atlas 3-rail track here. I bought some from my local hobby store. So this is Atlas 3-rail track, and then I also built a little walkway with that handrail on the left side of the bridge, and nothing on the right side. And between that, and then also a coat of flat black paint, and then some custom plywood footers, abutments, and piers. I actually think it doesn't look too bad. Now, if you look at it from over here, and it's kind of dark in this corner at this time, this night outside, but it's kind of dark from here, but it does look a little bit short, a little bit compressed. But most of the time you're going to view the bridge from, where the camera is where I'm standing. So, I think it looks pretty good. It's a pretty decent stand-in. And when you complement it with all the other things, like the black paint, the better track, the walkway, and all that, it doesn't look all that bad. And I complemented the scene as well with a brand new fill here. This is I just built this fill. It was just flat here before, so I put this new fill in. I put one in on the other side as well. And, ballasted it, put some scenery down, and I have clump foliage running down this side for now. And it comes all the way down. Over on this side, this is still pretty much as is. I still have to do some scenery work, some ground cover over in that corner, and then as well as some touch-up scenery and clump foliage over in this corner, and then reballasting all of this track. Right now, I just have a bunch of, crap sitting here, a bunch of stuff sitting here, but I'll clean that up eventually. And then GB Tower, which was the Pensy, I believe it was a Pensy Tower. It was definitely a Pensy design. It might have been made by the Erie. That's going to go right about in this corner here. And, and then over here I have I think it's an NJ International Pensy signal. And then over here is my BM scene, BM Tower, which is closer to Brockton. So I kind of combine these two scenes together to kind of hybrid them. So again, it's really not 100% accurate, but it's close enough, and I think it looks, you know, far better than having nothing here at all. And it certainly looks better than having a big, unrealistic 180-degree curve. I like viewing the trains here. You watch them, you know, on the far track, they just kind of come out from under the bridge. You can't really see where they're coming from. You know, you can't see them rounding the curve, and it just kind of helps to make the train appear like it's coming from somewhere and it's traveling somewhere. So I think it looks really good. I also put this telephone pole here, this telegraph pole. I'm debating on putting some like on the bridge itself, kind of off to the side. I've seen that in some bridges. We'll see. It's just kind of sitting here for now. It's not there permanently. I'm also going to weather the bridge a little more. I'm not going to make it too dirty, but I'm going to add a little bit of weathering to it. I also need to touch up all of the abutments, the bridge supports. Those need a lot of work. But anyway, it looks pretty good. I really like how it looks from here. I also might add a New York Central style signal here. We'll see. I really like the signals, but between the nickel plate and the Pensy and the New York Central, it might be too much. So we'll kind of play it by ear. Anyway, that's about what we're looking at here. I don't have too much more to share for now. But as I get more things done, I'll be excited to share. You know, a lot more ground cover, GB tower over here, lots of ballasting, all that. So anyway, that's where we're at for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.